It's a huge frame in this final. Pete Lindsay is our resident psychologist. And to be fair, people are queuing outside the studio because they want to give us psychological help with everything that's going on here. There's pressure, there's anxiety. But what can the two players do about it now?
I think it's obviously that frame is a war of attrition to a certain extent. I think at this stage, if you're in Peter's corner, you'd be telling him, you know, the momentum's with you. You've won the first 5 of the evening session. It's all for you. If you're in Graham's corner, you're almost on momentum doesn't exist. It's just about getting this next frame, and in that frame it's about the next shot and just taking it one shot. It's cliched, one shot at a time, and keeping it as simple as possible. Under this type of pressure, there's something of a preconception that you have to do something exceptional to win this. You don't. You've got to do the simple things under this pressure, which is easy to say but very difficult to do. Yeah, but under this mental strain, how do you either gather yourself if you're Graham, or just keep yourself from not getting excited as Peter's doing now? He must be now smelling, well, this could be the best ever comeback ever. Absolutely. There's a big temptation for Graham to think back into the past, think about those missed chances or those opportunities that have passed him by. For Peter, he might start thinking into the future. Now, the two things that the thing that those two things have in common, they're both irrelevant. The only relevant thing is the shot that you're playing at this moment in time, and it's just about keeping yourself in the present. Can you really coach people to not get excited in this situation, because the heart rate must be absolutely flying now? We all know the importance of it, and you're sitting there with your own thoughts. Can you really coach people to deal with that? We're not coaching people to pretend the pressure isn't there or to dismiss the pressure. We're trying to coach people almost to accept that it's going to be there and to try and use it as best you can. And there are strategies and techniques that we can use in order to facilitate that. Just give us a quick example of a strategy that Graham could now use. I mean, a really simple one, to get yourself back in the present, to stop yourself focusing on something in the past. Maybe just focus on your breathing. Maybe just focus on, you know, taking a sip of water. Something like that, that feeling to get you back in the moment. It sounds overly simplistic, but he just needs to bring himself, keep himself in the present. This is all that matters now. It does sound very simplistic, but you're saying that can really work? Absolutely. Yeah. Well, Peter Ebdon now as well, so you're talking about momentum now. He's going to feed off that, isn't he? He can do, yeah, absolutely. He's won the first 5. You know, he's hopefully after that frame he's going to get some fluency back into his game. Is this absolutely stating the obvious? But if Graham can now just win one frame, it's like, it's fresh, start again, I've got that demon out of my head, and then it's completely changed. Absolutely, and it's really down to perception. It's how Graham perceives those 5 frames that have gone by. You know, if you're trying to tell him that those 5 frames don't matter. The queue for the psychologist is growing.
It never hurts quite so much to lose a frame if you've not had chances to win it. But Dot missed so many chances there, not just on the brink of the frame, but earlier on. It's going to be difficult for him to get it out of his mind.
I think one of the problems sometimes when you're in a position like Graham Dott, you look at the scoreline and you think, well, as long as I stand up, I'm going to win. And you can fall over the line. But I think sometimes you've just got to make that push. And there was a couple of chances on the last red in that last frame that I think he should have pushed for the winning post and tried the each way bets. He had such a big lead. It must be getting to him now.
It's not happening suddenly, of course, but my mind is going back to Stephen Hendry, 14-8 down against Jimmy White. Won 10 frames in a row to win 18-14.
Good shot that from Peter. It was a brave shot. Nearly went in off, but he just rattled the jaws, and he's got a choice of pink or black. Black would be the best ball to play. I think if you pot the black, you're guaranteed position on the next red. but it's a little bit more difficult than the pink.
Eight.
Well, the dot camp very concerned. Dale Hill is coach on the left, Alex Lambie father-in-law and manager, John Dot father. I'm sure Dale Hill said the right things to him during the mid-session interval, but it's the man there who's actually got to do it.
Yeah. 9.
Terry Griffiths once said, the worst time is when you've almost won. You know that arithmetically you can still lose, but you're so far in front, so close to the winning line, that it's very difficult not to get distracted by visions of glory.
$15. 16.
Peter Ebden has looked altogether different in this fourth and final session to how he's looked in the previous 3 sessions. His emotional energy is back after appearing drained in those first 3 sessions, and the momentum is very much with him.
Nice shot.
23.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, we just had the longest frame ever here at the Crucible. How Peter, 74 minutes and 11 seconds, and apart from the last 2 minutes, I never thought that Peter Ebden had done enough to win the frame. And that, to me, must be the biggest concern for Graham and his supporters. How did he lose that last frame?
29.
Well, he's a portrait of deep concern.
Playing the run through. He might not be on a colour here. Oh, but he is, and he's inch perfect on the black. Couldn't have played it better. And when you play a shot like that and finish inch perfect, boy, do you feel good about it. So that momentum you're talking about, Clive, is definitely going with Peter Ebden now.
37.
Graham Dott must be a worried man sat there. Just watch the cue ball. You see it went back, and then that top spin just carried it on. Well, he couldn't have wished for a better result than that. Graham might not get back to the table this frame now.
38. $45. 46. 53.
Well, after the slowest frame of the final and the record slowest here at the Crucible, this could be the quickest of the final.
$54.
14 minutes, 58 frames, 58 minutes rather, 14 minutes, 58 seconds. I'll get it right eventually. That's the mark to beat, but Ebden is simply concentrating on closing
61.
out this frame. It should be straightforward.
$62.
Well, there's nothing Graham can do about this, but he must be wondering when is he going to get his first frame on the scoreboard this evening. Just one more red needed.
69. $70.
It's going to be increasingly difficult for Dot to retain his
77.
belief that he can win this match. He was 8 frames in front. Now it's going to be reduced to 2.
$78. $83. $84. Sorry? From 40, yeah.
Ebden develops a red from the side cushion, and he's going for this century because he knows that the longer he can keep Dot stewing in his chair, the better.
Yes, and he's also asked Jan Verhaas what the highest break in the tournament is. It's a 140. Well, it doesn't matter now. But that's how positive he was thinking.
84 on the frame.
Graham Dot concedes. It's another frame on the board for Peter Ebden. He was 8 behind. Now it's reduced to 2.
What a story is developing here in the Crucible this evening. I'm glad you're with us for this. I asked you earlier, when does Graham Dot press the panic button? Has he pressed it now?
Now, in big capital letters. And because one player is out there at the moment in control and flowing and taking his shots on, and the other one is sitting in the chair and he doesn't know what's going on at the minute.
How much do you get the feeling, Steve, that Ebden senses the fear in